Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like.
So we're here in South India in Kodaikanal hills, and when you're in the hills, you take a particular kind of vehicle. Especially people prefer SUVs, 4x4s, but nobody's ever thought of and dared to get an electric car to the hills, because you're always wondering whether you'll get the charging solution over there. Can it sustain that kind of battery? Will it be enough charge left when I reach the hills? Will I be able to get back to my home? But that range anxiety has been taken care of, because we're here with a very special vehicle. This is the Mercedes-Benz EQB, and this is the first manufacturer in India to get you a car to test in the hills, because they were very sure about it, that this can sustain that, it will have enough charge, it is a very capable vehicle, it has the ground clearance, it has the space, it has all the measures that you would need from an electric car, from any car, to reach the hills. And with this, there is also its sibling, the GLB, which we'll be testing later in this video. But first off, the EQB has been on charging, so let me see how much battery is right now so that we can leave. So we have almost 99% of battery now, and I think we're ready to leave, because that's enough for our journey towards Madurai. So I'm just gonna take off the charger, and we should be all set to go to Madurai now. So this is the kind of charger you'll get at home when you buy an electric car from Mercedes. So this is the charger. This is how it look on your wall in the garage. So now we are all set to drive the EQB down hills from Kodaikanal to Madurai.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like.
So now let's talk about the design of the Mercedes-Benz EQB. It really gives away that it's an electric car. You can see the grille is very EQ, which is the Mercedes standard. And also what I noticed, this is something new that I haven't seen in the EQC or the EQS. So this is something new. These lines between the grille to give it that radiator grille kind of a feeling. You also get these connected LED lamps that you get on all electric cars from Mercedes. So it's all connected. And what has been added is this blue light next to that. That's really nice. It's like an eyeshadow added to the headlights, which is great. Again, I'm just simply in love with the rose gold color, which is, I think, exclusive to the EQB. In fact, the Mercedes-Benz lineup. And if I think about it, maybe no other car manufacturer has dared to give you this rose gold color with any car. Of course, you can get your customized colors, but this is off-the-shelf color that you can pick with the Mercedes-Benz EQB. And not just that, the exterior color of rose gold matches the key and also the interior, which is great, because it's like whole thing was designed around rose gold color, which looks really nice and stands out. Not very blingy, but again very shiny, but also very subtle at the same time, which is a very tough thing to do in such colors. Again, if you talk about the front, you can see this massive grille with the Mercedes logo. Underneath this logo is a lot of sensors. Then again, you see this chrome lining, which is shiny chrome this time, and also these vents for the airflow. And again, green number plate, which is standard for electric cars. They've also given this added, louvers over here, just to give you that feel that is airflow for the car, which is not there, but you can see that. You also have autonomous braking and every other feature. So you have cameras there, which gives you active brake assist and other safety features. What I really liked about the front design is, obviously it speaks of being electric, but also these louvers in the bonnet, which gives it massive SUV feel. Now let's move to the side and see what's different on the side. So from the sides also, clear EQB badging tells you that's an electric car. You get these aerodynamic alloy wheels, you get 18 inches wheels and these strong arches throughout, and you can see how big that arch is, and you can also see the kind of ground clearance this car offers you. In fact, it's higher than its sibling, the GLB, because there's battery underneath, so they have given you enough ground clearance and safety features for that matter. Again, if you see, the rose gold color looks really nice with these chrome and black elements. This chrome on the window pane, chrome on the handle, chrome on the stills lower, and also you see this plastic cladding, because it's an all-road SUV with an off-road package, so you're never worried about damaging the underbody or the door panels. So it's all covered by plastic cladding. So if you can see, I just simply love how the blacks and the silvers have been mixed around here. The roof rails with silver and black, in the paints, window panes with silver and black. The door handles are silver, the cladding is silver and black, the alloys are silver and black. Again, very nicely done. You can also see the window panes are huge in this one, and even for the front passenger, the window pane is huge, giving you massive views. You also get panoramic sunroof, adding to that airability and view. Also, the third quarter panel, the overhang is big because it's a 7-seater. And here is the charging solution where you want to charge your car from. Moving on to the rear side of the car. So the rear is also very distinctive that it is an electric car, and this is an EQ series because the tail lamps are connected, which are only in the EQ series of Mercedes-Benz. The logo works as a camera and as a boot opener. So you click the button, the boot opens up, and also there is a camera underneath for your reverse camera needs. What I've loved is that this protection still on the boot lip. So if you're loading and unloading, you're never worried about scratching anything because it's like a lot of good protection here. And again, right after that is the plastic cladding to protect your car from scratches and dents. That is there, and again, a boot that can be controlled with a button through the remote, which is really always welcome. You also see this is really flat out like the GLS or the EQB because it's the sibling. You get the wiper, defogger, and these connected LED lamps looks really nice. This is the EQB 300 and 4MATIC. So 4MATIC means that you can definitely do it for off-roading with the off-road package. This is very distinctive, not been seen on Mercedes, this bright shiny chrome on the bumper. What they've done here is move the number plate from here to the bumper, which is not very common in Mercedes, but it's nice to see that they're experimenting and they're doing things that make this car look even more massive from the rear. The overhangs is huge, the height is really good. So to open the boot, it's very easy. Just click on the Mercedes logo, the boot opens up for you, and there is a lot of loading space, especially if the third row is down. You get a lot of space, and you can further lower down the second row to get massive amount of storage space in the car. So I mean, we can easily put a lot of bags here with the third row lowered down, and also there's a mat that's with the car. So once you lower down that seats, you can put it on the seat, make it kind of a bed for your family, your pets, and it's really like a picnic spot in here. So you can easily sit here and, you know, do your winter picnics, enjoy like in the hills. I can do a lot of things just sitting in this area. It's right open. It has a lot of airiness to it, which feels really nice in this car. Now let's sit inside and see what's different in the interior of the EQB compared to the upcoming sibling, the GLB. So as soon as you sit, you're welcomed by the EQ logo and the Mercedes-Benz system. I'll just click on start. But before that, I want to also show you the key. This is the same color as the body, the rose gold color, which looks great. The seating is very rose gold, and the whole interior feels very nice, especially the AC vents are also this rose gold color, giving that copper feeling. You know, copper and electricity go hand in hand, so really nice. So I'll start the car, which will be, yes, it's already started because it's electric. You will never know unless and until it doesn't show that it's ready to drive. And whatever you see is very usual to what you see in the Mercedes-Benz MUX system. This is two 10.25-inch screen attached to each other. One is for your navigation and everything. These are the speedometers, and as always, Mercedes offers a lot of customization and a lot of options, which is incredible. And especially the features, if I talk about the EQ features of this car, so you'll see this if I go to home and I go to the EQ menu. So you see a lot of options in EQ, like charging options, where it says search for charging stations, your departure time. Then you can see the car's consumption of the battery levels. You can see heating and cooling, how much battery that is using. So if people are wondering, should I switch off the AC or the heater to get more battery life? Well, you can see it here. And how you're driving, obviously that matters the most. So when you're driving, you also have this, average from start 1.2 kilometer per kilowatt per hour. So everything is changing from miles per gallon or kilometer per hour to kilowatt per hour. Then you also see the energy flow, like if you accelerate, you see that You will see these meters, you know, the energy flow. Yeah, this kind of animation that you see. Then you also see the vehicle information, like how you're braking and all. The camera. Then you also see the vehicle information, like the kind of, I think this should be replaced by electric power or EQ, because it says gas till now. And then the brake, and then of course the owner's manual. So these are the EQ features. Then you also have like a lot of themes which Mercedes offers, and there's special electric theme in this one, which kind of shows you all the energy consumption and all. And at all times you also see the range here, so there's no range anxiety. It says 424 kilometer. You also see, you know, you can play around with the meters a lot and see your consumption and everything. So overall, very well laid out interior. You see this very clicky buttons. There is the shutter where it reveals the wireless charger, the cup holders, Type-C ports, this touchpad which Mercedes is known for. Then the buttons that give you that, you know, different dynamic driving modes, your camera, you know, you want to see the parking sensors and, you know, launch the camera. So that is also there. Then dedicated buttons, you know, for navigation, radio, telephone, etc. And this special arm resting pad, which is always important, because, you know, in the Mercedes you put your gears from here, so your left hand is most of the time idle, so it's like a resting pad here. Then more storage space and USB Type-C port inside. The seats are really stiff, nice and comfortable. You know, a lot of boulder support, a lot of really nice thigh support. You can extend the thigh support, which is nice and always welcome. Then if you talk about the steering, the usual Mercedes steering, the paddle shifters in fact are used not for gear shifting of course, but for regenerative braking, so you can select the level of regen you need. And if you're at the top level, it's like single foot driving for sure. And this car comes with 10 speakers, so you get great sound. And what's new is this panel that they've created over here in the dashboard, which is, you know, light. Obviously the ambient lighting is great across the car, and Mercedes is known for the ambient lighting, and it not just serves as a beautification thing, but also a lot of surf purposes, like active brake assist will give you red lights, and when you're changing the temperature, it gives you reds and blue light. So a very adaptive and very dynamic lighting interior also. But this is something new, which is like an equalizer kind of a mode, which, you know, the light keeps changing, and very mesmerizing kind of a light experience, I would say. The mix of all the surfaces and materials that they've used again stands out like a Mercedes. You have, you know, memory seats, adjustable seats for driver and co-passenger. You also get seat kinetics, not massages but kinetics, which is always welcome, and a lot of headroom and leg room and seating comfort. Very comfortable seats in fact on the driver side and the co-passenger seat. So now what we're going to do is like sit in the middle row and see how comfortable the seats are in the middle row, because as this car is a very family oriented, family driven car, let's see how comfortable it is in each row. So huge doors to enter, really nice to enter the car. The seat has been moved a little bit further up so that I can show you the space, and also for shooting purposes. So the seat position is really nice. Like the front seat, you get like a lot of space. The under thigh support is a bit missing, but the good thing is you can adjust the seat. You can lower it back further up, you can move it up a bit further up, and you can also move it from the ground and like further back. But that has to be made sure that there's nobody sitting at the back and it's just the boot space, because then only you can get this amount of space in the car. And then again, this 60-40 split ratio seat, so you can see this seat is further up and this one is like really back there and also tilted like to the maximum level. At the back you get the AC vent, some space to keep your stuff here, and a USB Type-C port. Even the third row gets Type-C ports for charging. So even in the middle seat, because it's an electric car, there's really non-existent central tunnel, so you can keep your feet on the ground at levels, and which is great because then you don't have to sit like this, you can sit like this also. And if I move these seats together, then I have a lot of space. The middle row passenger obviously doesn't get a lot of thigh support because the seat has been trimmed and slimmed down for that. But again, all seats are comfortable at the rear, and you also get this arm rest in the middle if you're not using it as for the third passenger, with dedicated cup holders, which is welcome. So again, because of this panoramic sunroof, you get a lot of view. You have these huge window panes. It feels very airy, very spacious, and it is a spacious car. It is a long car, so you feel that in the car that it's really spacious and really nice to sit. Now let's move on to the third row and see, is it really suitable for somebody my height, like 5'10" and above, because Mercedes has been very clear it's for preteens, but we'll still give it a test. So let's see how easy or hard it is to get inside of the third row. So first of all, you just lower this seat and then you need to get in, so you can hold these handles and step up and move inside. So I think I'll have to move the headrest up so that I can sit comfortably. With that, it is crammed up for sure. The good thing is you have cup holders, you have your Type-C charging port, which is nice thing to have. And if these seats have moved a bit up, I think it's not that uncomfortable for a person of 5'8" height also, because I still have some headroom. Of course, I would not get any thigh support and all, but there is still space which I can make use of. And if people can sit in the 7-seaters we get in the market, this is equally good, honestly. It's crammed up, but you can easily sit. It's not like impossible to sit here. Obviously, prefer shorter distances, but you can. So I think we have driven quite a few now, still downhill, and it's going really, really nice. One thing you'll appreciate is, even though this car comes with a 66.5 kilowatt of battery pack, it still is so peppy to drive. And this size, this is a 7-seater, do not forget, it's like got a huge overhang also, and still it's so peppy. I think that's one thing that you love electric cars, you know, instant torque that you get, especially when you're cornering through these hilly roads of Kodaikanal. It's beautiful to drive around. You get that instant rush and it just passes through, which is brilliant, you know. Just touch of a pedal and you're into the next corner. And the kind of control this car has absolutely doesn't feel like a 7-seater big massive SUV, honestly. It just feels like I'm driving in, you know, GLA or A-Class, which is great. So we still have 111 kilometers to drive downhill, which is massive, because we're going to the midpoint heritage Madurai, and from there we'll be driving the GLB. But you know, I have to say that driving around this car is really exceptional. I never thought that I'll get this kind of acceleration, the power from a 66.5 kilowatt battery pack, because this is a huge car. This is a 7-seater. Let's not forget the overhang and everything. It really performs really well, and that's something about electric cars you have to appreciate. You know, press of a pedal and it just flies off. And especially when you're cornering through these ghats in Kodaikanal, it just comes in really handy. Now also you have to remember that once you're driving these cars in the hills, be it anywhere in the world or country, you will have network issues, you will have this dependency on maps. And the best part is this one comes with live maps. You can see live traffic. So even if there is no network that we're facing right now in this hilly area, we are still on path, we can still see the time, we can still, you know, have access to live maps, which is really something that you want when driving around in these situations. So not dependent on Apple CarPlay or Google Maps or Apple Maps, and you can just enjoy the live maps. You also get a lot of information, like if you're driving around, you can see the EQ data at all times. You can see how you're driving and how much, you know, average has been since the start, and it has been 10 kilometer per kilowatt per hour for us, and depends on how spirited you're driving and what modes you're driving in. You also see the energy flow while driving, which is great to see, because the kind of animation it shows is like that it's regenerating and, you know, regenerating the power again. But let me just give you a quick glimpse of how tap of a pedal and it just flies through the corners. Now do not forget, this is a massive vehicle, and the kind of stability and control it has is just exceptional. You know, the cornering is as simple and as easy as a GLA. Speaking of GLA, I should also remind you that this car comes with the same turning radius of almost like a GLA turning radius, with such a size, such a overhang and such big vehicle. So that's some feat of engineering that Mercedes has put into it, you know, giving that turning radius for the car. What I was saying, that, you know, even with this hilly ride, this bumpy surfaces, these potholes which we are used to across the country, still it's such a splush ride. It speaks Mercedes, seriously. You know, everything is just too good about this car actually. So that was our first drive of the Mercedes-Benz EQB. Now we'll be driving the GLB, and obviously there will be comparisons, because as this is the first time any car manufacturer is offering you all three driving trains: petrol, diesel and electric. So after driving the EQB for almost 4 hours and 200 kilometers downhill from Kodaikanal to Madurai, we are here to test its diesel or petrol version. Yes, we're talking about the GLB, which is the sibling for EQB. Now it's time to test the GLB. So as it was evident with the EQB's design that it's an electric vehicle by Mercedes and has resemblance with the alter egos of the EQC and the EQS, this one gives it away that it's a petrol or a diesel car by Mercedes, and for similar reasons it's called the baby GLS. Look at the front, it's absolutely the GLS but in different proportions, of course, because it's not as massive. But if you look at the grille, this AMG diamond grille, these headlamps are absolutely minuscule version of the GLS. So up front you get the star logo with sensors underneath that. You also have an option to get a front camera to make it 360-degree camera version. You also have this chrome, mix of chrome elements in the grille. Then this diamond knit grille, which is very AMG-ish. But what you will notice and like is these borders on the bonnet that make it really muscular and really macho kind of a car, which is again resemblance to GLS. You'll also notice these piano blacks inserts which look really nice. These are not air vents, they are not air dams, so this is just closed plastic. But you also see that a lot of chrome over here in the bumper, and then again these sensors and then space for the air to flow. There's a lot of space here and also through the radiator grille. So there's a lot of space for, of course, being an IC engine. But again, very similar to the GLS. Now move on to the sides and see what's similar from the sides. So from the sides you can see the similarities with the GLS, but in this one you get 19 inches of alloy wheels and also AMG line alloy wheels, because this is the GLB AMG line and we are driving the grey color. It also comes in 5 different colors, and also if you see window panes as we saw in the EQB, the third quarter panel glass is again huge, but of course it is an ICE, so will be a bit different from the inside. But if you talk about the side design, it's very similar. The chrome laden roof rails are a bit different from what you get on the EQB. So the rear design again is very similar to the GLS. I mean, there is no stopping the comparisons between the GLS and the GLB, which is a very good thing because that's a flagship vehicle from Mercedes-Benz India and it compares to that. What is different from the EQB is the design of the boot. It's not as flat out as it was in there. The number plate is not on the bumper is different. The number plate is here. There is no camera with the logo inside, the camera is here, and the boot is definitely operated with the touch of a button. But space is also very similar, 3 rows, 7 seats, similar seating setup, and all these things, I mean, in a way are very similar to each other. But if you talk about the design, it's again, if you see these tail lamps are 2-section tail lamps what you got in a GLS. Because this is the MG line, you get this diffusers at the rear, which is very sporty again, and this chrome line strip running with a mesh kind of a structure on top of it with the sensors here. Now it's time to test what's inside, how it is different and what's new in the GLB. So the GLB is very similar to what you get in a GLA or an A-Class, and it gets this modern contemporary 10.25 inches screen, very similar dashboard design to the EQB, but EQB had special lights in here. It had those rose gold vents and a lot of textures running across the car. This one has silverish, not brushed aluminum, but a proper silverish, inserts in the dashboard. But because this is the AMG line, it's got like very shiny, glossy piano black and carbon fiber texture kind of a thing, mix of all those things. Black seating with red stitching on the seats because of the AMG line. But again, because this is the AMG line, it will be very different from what you get. You have like a beige option, a grey option. This is the AMG line blackout option with all these carbon fiber glossy trims across the car and with a lot of silvers and red stitching, which makes it really nice. And steering also gets a flat bottom treatment because it's the AMG line. Doesn't have the AMG badging because it's the AMG line, but you get that red stitching and flat bottom steering, which is really nice. You've already seen us describing the cabin in the EQB video, so I'll keep that short. But if you're talking about the seat position, this one is very similar to what you get in the EQB. You have that great view of the road. You also see those boulders on the bonnet, which makes you feel that you're driving a very macho and very muscular car. Always a good feeling when you see that on the hood. So that's nice. Steering is very comfortable, and you can obviously adjust the side support, the thigh support, and because of this Alcantara texture, it's really soft and plush at the same time. So since the interiors are very similar with certain touches and here and there things, we'll touch those things in the full review when we drive the EQB and GLB in a full review. But for now, what we're going to do is hit it out and start driving the GLB 220D and see how it performs. So let's start the engine and see how it is different. So coming from an EQB, it feels very different because you get that, sound of the engine when it starts. You also get that nudge of the diesel pump and that punch of the diesel. So now the car is started, let's head out for a drive. So let's hit the driving gear and see how it drives. You obviously feel a difference jumping in from an electric to a diesel car, but then you also like that punch of the diesel, which is not as much as the electric, of course, but the sound is something that we have lived with and grown with. So that is something that will still take time to get used to, driving at fast speed without any sound and that grunt of the diesel engines. But other than that, very similar to what you have already driven in the existing portfolio of Mercedes cars. But again, I have to mention that this car doesn't feel like a 7-seater with the maneuverability and the way it clears the bumps and all, and also the turning radius is exceptional. So since this is a 4MATIC vehicle, you can see how much power each wheel is using or getting when you press the pedal, and it automatically, in milliseconds transmits power to each wheel whenever needed. So if you go off-roading, you'll notice that, the rear wheels, if you're getting stuck, will get more power and get you out of the way. Similarly, when you're on like these normal roads, the front wheel will have maximum power unless and until you really hit the pedal, and it gives you power in all 4 wheels. And also because this is an off-roading and very capable vehicle, you also get this G-force meter that moves around when you power, and also shows you the torque being used, like 0 Newton meter to whatever press of the pedal, and it shows, and the kind of G-force it shows in the meter. How does it drive on the highway? Let's see. So it went up to 400 Newton meters of torque and just crosses 100 in no time. Since the limit is 100, we'll keep it under that. But again, it's really nice to drive, really punchy. The punchy 220D, the trusted Mercedes engine, and I think that's what you expected out of the car. So that was our first drive of the GLB and the EQB. So do let us know which one was your favorite. I mean, if you had to pick one, tell us in the comment section below. Would you pick up the electric version, the petrol version, the diesel version? Because now that you're getting 3 powertrain options, which will you be buying or trying out? Let us know in the comment section. And for more such videos, do not forget to like, subscribe and share it with your friends and family. Thanks for watching the Unbiased Vlog.